amazing and they're hard and they're wonderful and they kill you and they undo you and they lift you up and I think they're just simply wonderfully complicated. So I think that the part that doesn't work is just the parts that don't work.
I'm thinking about,
right?
Yeah, I think you're right. It's got me thinking about you. And what? No, because I think that's the secret to your successful marriage. I'm not kidding. I think you had it together. You sort of learned about what you really wanted. When you did Ed Wood, which was a movie that came after Honeymoon in Vegas, Ed Wood, one of my favorite movies. Did you read that script and know right away that it was going to be great?
So I got a call that Tim Burton wanted to meet with me, and I was in Los Angeles shooting something else. And I went to this small little lot in Los Angeles and sat in a room with him, and we talked about movies.
Right.
And he sort of, if I recall correctly, sort of made it clear to me that day that he wanted me to play that role, Dolores, I think her name was.
Yeah.
And I was thrilled, and that was sort of how that happened. And then I did that and had that. Then I read the script after meeting him.
Is that when you felt like a real success in your life? Because now you don't have to audition anymore. You got Honeymoon in Vegas without an audition. And now Tim Burton, who's like one of the hottest directors on the planet, he calls you and says, I have this in mind for you. That's when you feel like, wow, I've got this made. I've got it down, right?
Well, you definitely feel like you're sorting it out, like you're arriving at a place that you'd hope to, that you would maybe really actually be working. You know?
How many actors even get to that level? They would give their left arm to be able to do it.
And not enough talented actors get to that level. It's very frustrating.
Oh yeah, and do you feel the envy of a lot of your fellow actors who you knew coming up because now you're the chosen one?
No, because a lot of them that I came up with are working and working and having really successful, admirable careers. Like they're doing things that I would want to be doing. Like Cynthia Nixon and I have been working together since we were 11.
You guys have great chemistry together, right? Wouldn't you say?
Yeah,
I think so.
I mean, I hope so. Yeah, I love her. I love her.
Her character on Sex and the City was Miranda, right?
Yeah.
And Miranda, I felt, and your character had the most dynamic relationship.
I think so. I think they were really comfortable fighting honestly, and she was hard on Carrie, like appropriately. You know, like her standards were high, and I think Miranda was a truth teller, and I think they had like a really hard fought friendship. Like they really fought for it to be the best it could be. Was
that a hard thing for you emotionally when the show was a big success? It's sort of banked on you returning every year, and if you don't return, that means those other women do not work. I mean, it is really up to you. Well, they don't work on Sex and the City. If you were the star. Is that a lot of pressure for you to keep going in it? Was there a time you wanted to just leave and then you said, I can't do that to the other women?
No, its ending sort of came surprisingly naturally. Michael Patrick and I, after I had my son, before I got pregnant, Michael Patrick and I had met with then the heads of HBO and talked about what we imagined the right time to be, and we knew it was complicated, and we knew that we owed the other women this to be part of this conversation and decision making, and
you included them.
Well, once we thought about what would be interesting and smart, we shared with them that this was something we thought was a wise decision.
Did anybody disagree?
No, but I think it was hard for all of us. And I think even though we agreed with the philosophy, which is to leave while people still had affection, don't stay too long at the party or whatever, cliche. But we believed in that. And I think it was helped because we knew we were going to do a movie too. So we knew we were going to have this time off and that we would come back and get to do a movie.
Yeah, but even with the movie, the second movie, the pressure's on you because they're all waiting for you to make the decision to do the second movie, and that's what I'm referring to.
Yeah, I guess so, but I think there's a kind of maturity to these women that people didn't recognize or know at the time, that even if it's hard to leave something that you love, and even if it's scary, and even if this is the place of like comfort and income and creative satisfaction, it's incumbent, like, we're meant to do other things. Like, we should, as actors, all of us considered ourselves journeymen. You know, we were just working actors. We needed to go and do something else. It was important for all of us.
Why do I feel when you get a hot thing like Sex and the City, go with it? I mean, keep going. Why not?
Because you want to.
It's a great job.
Well, I think that's that's the hard thing to resist.
Right.
That's the lure. But you have to. It takes a huge amount to produce a show and do it well every week. I mean,
and you want your legacy.
You want it. You want to be honorable to the relationship that the audience has shared with you. You want to produce a movie every week, which at a certain point, like we were doing 80 and 100-hour weeks. Like I was there, first person there in the morning and the last to leave. And
you want it to be so
80
good.
And 100-hour weeks. And I'm not making this up. Like it was nuts. We were doing episodes, like 2 episodes over 20 days. Like that's crazy.
Why did it get long? Because you wanted it to be better and better.
We were just filling it up, and all women had stories. And we were doing company moves from here to there. We were going to Paris for 2 weeks and shooting every block in every district and expecting, you know, we were shooting on film like a freaking movie.
But you know what's so odd about that whole story? That you turned down the show. You
no, I said yes. I shot the pilot and then I panicked.
And you decided I'm not going to do it. You told HBO that you would give them a deal where you would produce a bunch of movies and be in movies and things for them if they just let you out of Sex and the City and not go ahead with you after the pilot.
Yeah, that's what I was going to offer.
Yeah.
I went to my agents and I was like, I feel like maybe I shouldn't be doing a television series. And so they said,
why? Because television, you felt, hey, I have a movie career. What am I doing television for? I
just got panicked about being like locked in. And in my head, it was just like the same thing over and over again. And it felt like somebody had put me in a straitjacket in theory. So I went to Kevin Uvain, my agent of, I don't even know how many years now. And I explained this, and he said, well, let's meet with the head of the TV department, who's this brilliant guy. And he was like, well, what do you want? And I was like, why don't we just offer them, I'll work for free for them for a year. Like, I'll do anything they want.
Your agent must have been thrilled with you. What a businesswoman. Yeah, right.
Don't ask her.
Because I felt like I had committed to times with them,
Was the pilot good?
It was excellent.
Did you watch it?
I hadn't seen the pilot when this happened because somebody stopped me on the street. A woman stopped me on the street and she was like, hey, Sarah Jessica, how are you? I was like, great. She's like, I saw your show. I love it. I was like, what show? And she was like, didn't you do a show? And I was like, what show? And she said, Sex and the City. I was like, oh my God, yeah, I did.
Oh, they'd already put it on.
No, she had gotten a DVD or a tape of it. And I was like, oh, I haven't seen it. She was like, it's great. You should see it. And I was like, yeah, I probably should see it. So
but
then
you
I panicked. Then I panicked.
Because you said, I'm going to be stuck on TV.
Yeah.
I have other things I want to do.
Yeah, I was
so
like,
you
I
say to
do
HBO,
theater. I want to do a movie.
Right. So you say, I'll work in the HBO cafeteria.
Yeah,
anything but this movie.
Yes. And so
this
then
TV show.
I met with them and they were like, what scares you? And I said, I'm scared of doing the same thing. I'm scared of routine. And they said, this is HBO. We don't work like that. You know, we don't have to answer to advertising dollars. You know, if you get a movie you want, we'll figure it out. We'll figure out the shooting schedule. If you get a play that you want to do, we'll figure it out. We're counter programming at the time.
Right.
We're on in the summer. Everybody else is on in the fall. You know, we can shoot any time. Give it a chance. And they brought in Barry Jossen, who was a producer I did Miami Rhapsody with, who I loved.
Right.
I walked to the set from the apartment the first day. It was 2 blocks from my house. Day 1 of shooting the first season. Happened to be at the Banana Republic on Bleecker and 6th Avenue. Do you remember when it was there? It wrapped around just up from Da Silvano?
I don't get that much. Yeah.
What does that even
He doesn't see the city.
You want to know? Honestly, I don't know where we are right now. And I'm not kidding. But you... So
I walked to the set that morning. Yes. And we're doing a scene in a dressing room. And I never looked back. And there wasn't a single day on that set that I didn't want to be there. Not one single day.
In retrospect,
I loved it.
Was HBO generous with you salary-wise?
Yeah.
Because they had a reputation for being somewhat cheap.
Really?
At the time. Yeah, that's what I'd always heard. They don't make a deal with HBO. They just underpay their people. And to me, Sex and the City was their friends. You know, it was this big, gigantic hit. There was no show bigger. on their network that I remember at that point.
Well, that was early too, when HBO was hardly doing anything.
Yeah,
and it really broke ground.
I mean,
because this, like Robin's right, because the scripted shows then were the two male, like Dream On, and there was like a football show on, and then the rest was like boxing and sports.
How many years did they make you commit to that show? What was your contract?
I think my first contract was a 3-year contract, which is very unusual. Like that's a much less. That was like in the old days of television. I think it was like a 7-year contract.
Does it still annoy you that the perception is that you and Kim Cattrall didn't get along in that show? And you've said a million interviews, "Hey, I have no beef. She has no beef with me. I don't know where that came from." So where does something like that come from?
I don't know. It used to really confound me and really upset me because, we were part of a family of sopranos, and nobody ever questioned the relationships of the men on that show, and no one ever said to them, "Did you hang out this weekend with each other, or did you give each other Christmas presents, or what message did you send?" And I was like, these were these were people that I grew to love and admire, and was every day perfect? Were people always desperately, hopelessly in love with each other? No, but this is a family of people who needed each other, relied upon each other, and loved each other. And this sort of narrative, this ongoing catfight it really used to really, not even irk, it really upset me for a very long time.
Would you go to Kim and say, "Kim, what can we do?"
I think we both felt at 6s and 7s of it. I think we both felt like it had taken on a life, and it didn't matter how many people denied it, or
the more you deny it, sometimes the worse the rumor gets.
Yeah.
And that was upsetting to you.
It was upsetting because it was usually about like bad behavior on the set. And I take very seriously my reputation. Like I work really hard and I treat people well. And I have, a work ethic that's very meaningful to me. And it's based on the affection I feel for the people that I get to work with. And to suggest that I'm behaving poorly or not treating somebody well.
That's not you.
It's like, it's not even like it's not me. It's so anathema that it would drive me bananas.
Would you ever talk to a PR person and say, "Hey, you know what we ought to do? Kim and I ought to go out to dinner and get photographed, and they'll see we're together, and then this whole nonsense will end." There's no machinations behind the scenes.
It wasn't those old-fashioned machines anymore, and we were together so much, and it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It just people, whoever was writing about it just didn't want to believe it. And so it goes. I mean, if that's the worst problem, that you're kind of, that's like your cross to bear, then I'll deal with it. But it was upsetting to me.
When you do Ed Wood with Johnny Depp, I picture every co-star must fall in love with him. The guy's just so damn good looking.
Yeah, he's fantastic.
And he's a great actor.
He's great, and that movie was an amazing experience.
Did you find yourself falling in love with him? Well, maybe in love is too strong.
No, but I really liked him. I was shocked at how much I liked him. I didn't know he was this quiet person. He was kind of a mystery to a lot of us up to that point. He'd done Ed Wood. He'd done Edward Scissorhands before that. And
do any of these people intimidate you when you work with them, or are you very confident on set?
No. I'm a nervous wreck.
Because if you're a shy person,
nervous wreck.
I would think, working with like Nick Cage, and then working with Steve Martin, working with Johnny Depp, and even Martin Landau in that movie was just fun.
So
he won the Academy Award, right?
Yeah.
What happens though? How do you get over that nervousness working with these people?
I always expect for the first 2 weeks of production, I'm just going to be really nervous and really anxious, and I've come to expect it, and I don't know. I just try to do good work in spite of feeling really scared and nervous. And what I've discovered is other people, even like the upperclassmen, they're nervous too. Anytime I've ever had the courage to bring it up, they've all confessed that they're always in a state of feeling like lousy, not great, not confident.
No matter how long you do it.
And
I remember
yet
Dustin.
You can still work. That's amazing because most people think they'll be shut down.
Well, I feel like that's the hardest thing to figure out. And it's
You're
something
about to say Dustin Hoffman.
Dustin Hoffman, there's a great story, and I'm sure there's I'm sure there's a million of these, but like he sat on the plane, I think like after The Graduate or after he won the Oscar for something, and he was like, I hope I get a job again. Like you're always you're always questioning your value. And when you get on a set, it's this tiny like moment, and you have this finite period to get it all figured out and be as good as you can possibly be immediately.
Right.
And it's a very unusual experience. In the theater, you rehearse and you rehearse and you rehearse.
So you
and
have
you're
time to get it.
And you're like literally warming up your muscles.
Right.
And movies have a whole other. There's
rhythm.
Beauty, but there's a rhythm in that, and television. It's that's a completely separate thing too. There's like no time and urgency, and like
maybe that's good though.
I love it. I love it
because that way you're not overthinking it.
But I've met so many really like just incredibly highly regarded actors, and they will tell you, yeah, I'm always nervous the first couple days. I always wait to get fired. Like, and I was doing State and Maine with Philip Seymour Hoffman, and we would drive home on the weekends, and I would say every weekend he'd say like, so Sunday night pickup, when I'd be like, yeah, Sunday night we should be back by this time, and we were shooting in Massachusetts, and I would say like, unless I'm fired, because for the first 2 weeks of that movie, I was like, I'm going to be fired.
Have you ever been fired from a movie?
I was fired from Ants.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Ants?
That animated movie.
You were? Were you bad at it?
And I was fired from At Close Range, that other animated movie.
Is that right? Why do they fire you from? I would think you're terrific at that.
Okay,
You're a bad aunt.
Apparently, I was a bad aunt.
Really?
The first movie, I can't remember which movie fired me first. First time they were like, we're going in a different direction.
Right.
Which I'd always heard like as a joke. And that one was a cow. Wasn't At Close Range the cows?
Oh, yes.
I think it was.
Woody Allen was
the
the
all the answers.
Woody Allen was the star of Ants, right?
Then Ants. And by the way, just please know, I did like many sessions for both of these movies. And
did you use your own voice, or did you have a funny voice for an ant?
I had my own, and then they brought in Sharon Stone, so I was like, "Oh, you really did go a different, like she's, down here. She's like old movie star Vixen."
What was your ant voice? This voice that I'm hearing now?
Yeah, I guess they objected to it. But what was upsetting was that they even called me, like the week before they fired me, they called me to tell me how great I was.
Oh.
Which I felt like was like a setup, but I think they meant it at that time.
Do you study ants for, do you study?
Absolutely not.
You do not?
No.
Are you one of those method actors where No. Did you ever study acting?
No.
No. You didn't?
No, but that doesn't mean I'm proud of it. I just have been working.
But are you ever envious of people who have that kind of training? Maybe they have a secret that you don't know about?
I think, they have a technique or they have these skills. Mostly because I wasn't classically trained. Like I didn't.
I think it would ruin you. At this point, you've got something that they don't have.
Or they have something I don't have.
Well, whatever, but your career is happening and theirs isn't. So I would stick with that.
Well, a lot of classically trained actors have big careers.
Well, I heard that Sharon Stone lived among ants. That's how she got the part, which you weren't willing to commit to.
She plotted against me?
Yeah, she's like a regular Daniel Day-Lewis. She's on set.
She was an ant.
Do you ever work with those actors? Like when you get on set, do you ever work with actors who are
more method-y?
Yeah. Like a Daniel Day-Lewis, you have to dress him as Mr. Lincoln on the set.
Yeah, I dig that. I think that's
You do? You don't think that's nonsense?
No, because I feel like I know how I like to work, and I would really, at this point in my life, just want to work the way I mean. I have.
If I
a way
work with
I
you, should I leave you alone? Like
no, but you figure if you have an ear at all, or you're even remotely curious or interested, you figure out what the other actors around you are doing and want and need, and you do it really quickly. And that's the kind of, I think that's the, when you see a great director, it's because they know what every single actor needs. And you should be able to work with anybody regardless of their process. Like, that's the thing. Like, you have to figure it out. And I don't like to talk about the work on set. Like, I'm one of the people that doesn't want to talk about your...
You're the opposite.
Your subtext. No, because I don't have
what
technique.
Would the ant be eating now?
Right. I know that stuff, but I don't...
Share it
or want to start getting... Like... I don't want it to be an intellectual exercise in the camera roll, so I mostly want to listen to the other person and then react.
Can't believe they fired you from an ant movie.
And a cow movie.
And a cow movie.
I've had no success. Sorry, success playing an animal, except I played a dog on stage.
I love that.
Yeah. you know.
That was successful.
Yeah, you were great as a dog.
You saw it?
Yes.
Did you
Absolutely.
really?
I was in the theater.
Did you come backstage?
No, I did not.
She was afraid you'd bite her. She really bought into your
I'm
role.
really afraid of you.
She had a foul mouth. You remember that dog?
Yes, absolutely.
God, that was an amazing speech.
I would love to do a cartoon. That would be, I don't know. I mean, that sounds to me like such a ka-ching moment. I mean, you only get to act, but you don't have to really sit there and do makeup and all of that. Yeah, it seemed like a good idea.
Yeah, I thought it was a good idea.
I could see you as an ant.
I love that they went back to the well and like tried it again. They were like, we're still wrong. You're still bad.
Do they have to pay you even though they are?
No,
they
only
don't
get paid per session.
Oh, for Christ's sake!
Animation.
You're kidding me.
That's all right.
I'm so sorry.
I remember when I found out about ants too. I was I was walking around with Matthew and we were looking for an apartment to buy.
Yeah.
And then I got a call because I had a Motorola flip phone.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Hey, listen." And I was like, I can't believe I'm about to try to purchase an apartment.
But speaking of which, when you get a hit series like Sex and the City, that gives you the economic freedom to do anything, right?
I don't know if it's comparable to your
Well, I mean,
freedom,
but you got a lot of do re mi.
Yeah.
And the thing is, and I've never said do re mi before, but what I'm saying is that gives you the freedom now that you don't, like you didn't have to go do the TV show Divorce if you didn't want to, and if they fire you from an ant movie, no big deal. But Matthew, your husband, was the one who convinced you to do Sex and the City too,
and my
right?
brother Pippin and Kevin.
Yeah, because Matthew knew. He said, "You got something good here."
Yeah, he read the script, and my oldest brother Pippin read the script, and Kevin Yvain, and the three of them said they were almost like forceful about it. And Kevin would have if it was the right decade, he would have said, "You are doing this." Like if he were Louis B. Mayer,
yes,
he would say like, "You're doing this," because he thought it was really special. And Pippin and Matthew did as well. And I think, especially, it was the last moment of that script where she's with Big, and he picks her up on the street or something, and then he takes her home, and he's like in a town car, and they talk about being in love and not being in love, and she's being kind of glib, and she says to him, he says, "Have you ever been in love?" to her, and I think she is sort of dismissive and acting really cavalier, and then she gets out of that car, and she starts walking toward her door, and she turns around and she knocks on his window, and he pulls it down.
Yeah.
And she says, "Have you ever been in love?" And he says, "Abso-fucking-lutely." And she turns, and it freeze frames on her face. And I was like, oh.
He was great with you.
He was fantastic. And I was like, oh, there's a story here. Yeah. There's an amazing story to be told.
Yeah. Do you that show is so iconic. Did your life change to the point where, up until then, of course, you've been in movies and stuff, but now when you get on TV every week and just millions of people are watching that, does your life become complete chaos to negotiate all of that? I mean, you had camera, everywhere you went, there was paparazzi. All of a sudden, you were really focused on.
Then?
Yeah, it started then, I think.
Yeah.
But
you've done a pretty good job, though, of laying low.
Yeah, I mean, you know, we live in a city, so what are you going to do? I mean, we have to walk out our door, and we have to get a ride, a cab, a subway. I mean, you have to.
What do you do when these guys are photographing you? Like, they're literally, you're with the kids, they're interrupting you. What's the strategy? Just stop, head down, and keep going.
Yeah, because I'm with my kids. I mean, I head down even if I'm not with my kids, but when I'm with my children, they would love for me to just simply be their mother.
Oh, the kids, but
I'm saying... They don't want me engaging with them. On a couple of occasions when I've raised my voice or told them they were being, disrespectful or getting too close, like uncomfortably close, they're just so embarrassed that there's like any, tension. It's, you don't want your mother to raise her voice. It's embarrassing.
It is, yeah.
And they just don't want to have attention. They don't understand it.
So you've got to suck it up.
Yeah.
And keep walking, keep moving, and just kind of stay quiet.
Right. And it's, you become accustomed to it. And there's times that it feels, less intrusive, and there's times it feels more intrusive. And like the biggest challenge or the thing that requires most discipline, I think, is all the video cameras now, and they say things on
the
purpose
TMZ dudes.
to try to be provocative and, say something hurtful or, so that requires a kind of
patience.
Yeah. And a discipline to not
like
to
a
not
shield,
respond.
a shield that you have to put up.
Yeah, but like I said, there are far worse things a person has to.
Was there hesitation
You know?
picking up and doing a new show because of that with Divorce? I mean, I love the show. Divorce is Sarah Jessica's new program. It's on HBO. It's on Sunday nights. I just watched the second episode. It's on at 10 p.m. To me, it's a great topic.
Yeah.
And the topic is like when the shit hits the fan, how you going to react and how you're going to handle it.
Yeah.
And you and your husband, I mean, I'm still trying to figure out how you were ever in love with this guy because he's a bit of a tool.
You don't like
isn't
him.
he? No, he's a tool. I think you should divorce him. But you're desperately trying to get him back at this point that I'm in the show, right? Mm-hmm. You like doing this, though.
I love this show.
Yeah.
I love I like the lands. I like relationships. I like, the story of relationships. And I think this relationship is actually like a lot of people have. I mean, if it's not their own divorce, they've known somebody, they've contemplated one, their sisters, their friends, their parents.
You're cool if the show goes 6 years?
Yeah.
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 You're ready for that?
I think I am, yeah.
The kids are older now?
My son's almost 14 and my daughters are 7. And we do 10 episodes, so it's not like the old days of 18. And we're not shooting crazy hours as much anymore. I mean, those days are over. That's like a time.
Do you turn down a lot of stuff because of having kids and having to be a mom?
Yeah. And because I think, well, like, I'm sure you can't get the time back. So now how do you make decisions? You're at a different point in your life. And so what, and it's a huge privilege to be able to choose.
Right.
Like, that's a big deal because most working mothers in this country are not only not choosing, but there's no creative satisfaction in what they have to do and 2 and 3 jobs and all sorts of really challenging things. So I'm not, complaining at all. But I like to be thoughtful about what takes me away from them.
Let me ask you something. What is the difference between Twitter and Instagram? You're not on Twitter.
No.
You don't like it. You say it's too mean.
I don't have the constitution for Twitter.
Because people will attack you or say mean things to you.
Yeah, and it's not just that they're mean. Who cares if someone's mean? It's sort of it's the quality of the vitriol. It's the sort of delight in being nasty. It's a sort of.
It's too much.
It's just it feels like a real waste of time. There's not a dialogue happening. It's just it really. I don't feel like I'm not equipped for it.
And why is Instagram okay? People are less hostile?
I think the picture is the focus, not the words. And so it seems to be more palatable. It's not that people don't have strong opinions, and it's not that I haven't engaged in some, very heated conversations, but it's not the same amount of interest in a sort of
blasting you.
Yeah, and I don't know. And I have a complicated relationship with Instagram. It's not like I'm like I still it's a thing. I'm still like working. I'm still like conscious of the relationship.
What do you put out there? Hot outfits?
No, oh God, no. I've never taken a selfie in my life. I don't.
You
do
haven't?
Anything. No, never. God, no.
If you did that, you'd have a lot more followers, I would think.
Maybe.
I would like to follow you if you do that.
No.
I like seeing you in different outfits.
No.
How did you avoid nudity on Sex and the City? How did you do that?
I just said I wasn't going to do it.
You refused?
Yeah, I just said, And
did the other women feel bad because they all were nude and you weren't?
They all talked about it every single time. Every conversation, every time there was anything in the script, everybody talked about their level of comfort with it.
Right.
And so people only did what was comfortable to them. And that my desire not to do it was not about some principle that I wanted to like lord. I think it's great if somebody feels comfortable with nudity. Like, I think it's fantastic.
You never did it.
I didn't think it was necessary for the part either. It never felt like, shoot, I wish I was comfortable being nude right now.
Although out of all the people I would think in this world who would be comfortable being nude, it'd be you, because you're in great shape.
No.
What are you doing to stay in shape? How are you staying thin?
I don't.
You running?
I don't. I don't. I'm not.
What?
I just
You're not
walk
what?
I just walk around New York. I'm not. I don't. I'm not in.
You parade around New York and that
No.
keeps you thin?
No, I'm not.
Parade.
I'm not really in shape.
Do you eat like a bird?
No, I eat a huge amount.
What did you have for dinner last night?
Well, yesterday was an unusual day because I was working most of the day.
Why does it embarrass you to say that you have a great figure and that why does it embarrass you to tell me what you do to stay thin? Why is that embarrassing?
Because I don't think I'm not really in great shape right now.
Give me a break.
And I'm really not. Like I'm not. And but I'm
Trump
happy
said you were 10.
No, God. Oh boy.
9 or 10,
You
from what I
still
remember.
can't have your vote?
If he tells you you're a 10, will you vote for Trump? But in all seriousness, why does that embarrass you?
I don't know. I just
You get self-conscious.
yeah. I mean, I don't know. I'm not. I don't know. I'm also not working out right now either, so I feel like ooh.
If I was married to you, what would our day be? Would we, I know you read a lot of books. Would we have to read books
Do you
a
read
lot?
them together?
Yeah. Would we read together?
There was a time before we had kids, as
Yeah.
corny and really just kind of awful as this sounds, we
Yes.
did read Great Expectations to each other.
Oh,
Really?
wow.
We
Two
read the whole
actors read-
book to each other, but not like in voices and characters
You
and
just
like
read,
accents.
yeah.
Just it was. We
So
were
in other
recording.
words, we couldn't be married. It would be impossible because.
So we don't. You don't. I'm not. I don't require reading except
Right.
of my children.
Yes. Do you read to the kids?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
I would love to have
they're
Sarah Jessica
reading.
Parker read to me as my mother.
They want me to make up stories a lot late at night, and I'm like, oh my god,
I'm
so
exhausted.
tired. I'm so freaking tired.
Yeah, it's enough.
Especially Loretta.
Did you know I have a TV show on HBO called Divorce? What's the matter with you kids? Putting
He's
a lot
always
of
like,
pressure.
"What's that show about, Mama? What's that show about? Why are you standing there like that? What does that look on your face mean?" On
So
that
what did you eat for dinner last night?
So that's not a typical day. So let's go to the night.
So you
before.
forgot to eat
No. It's just that I was eating soup and stuff because I was running around.
soup.
Well,
Was your
no,
dinner?
but this is not typical. And then I came home.
Yeah.
And I woke up around 2 a.m. and I had stuffed grape leaves, ham, Ruffles potato chips, some salted cashews, and
Was this after the Hillary Clinton
Yes,
bash?
yes.
You came home and ate
But
like a...
Sunday night we had steak, we had broccoli, we had potatoes, boiled potatoes with butter.
You cook this,
We
or do
had
you have a chef?
Matthew cooked.
Matthew cooked?
Matthew's an amazing cook.
Does he cook every night, or is
No,
he... No.
but we cook a lot.
I picture
but
you
we're
out to dinner
we're
every night.
No, we never
I
go
picture
out
you
to
at
dinner.
Polo Club.
What?
Yes.
Oh my God! I've only ever been there with Andy.
Well,
That's the
Andy.
only way I could get into that place. Are you freaking
Oh,
kidding me?
you could get in.
No freaking way.
Come on.
No. Plus, it's just so far away.
I see.
No. We don't ever go out.
There's dinner at home. Everyone eats at the same time. The
We
kids.
try to. Yeah,
Really?
we really try to. It's hard because James Wilkie's schedule is all over.
James Wilkie seems to be the fly in the ointment with all this.
Oh no, he's
He's a good
he's
kid.
the apple of my eye.
He better be a good kid.
No, he's
a lot of these
great.
Hollywood kids turn out, you know.
He's not a Hollywood kid.
He's
They're
not?
not in Hollywood.
He's a downtown New York kid, born and raised.
Yeah?
Yeah. No, he's great. They're all great. I mean, they're all awful sometimes too, because that's what they're supposed to be, right?
He's at the age where all his little friends are going to be coming over to check you out.
No, they don't.
Of
Let me
course
tell
they
you,
do.
You have to understand.
Are
No.
you kidding me?
But what is
If
nice
my
is that the
friend's
kids
mother was
do-
Sarah, I'm like, your mom ever swim?
No, you
when
have to
can we go
remember,
see her?
There's a lot of actors and other people of note at our son's school, but interesting people and beautiful, interesting mothers. And but the good thing is that they do come to our house just to hang out, having nothing to do with me or Matthew. I assure you. No, really, truly, because they're not with us. They go down
If I'm
to the
friends with
basement.
James Wilkie, I'm like, hey, dude, let's have a sleepover at your place. Your mom's way
I'm so
interested.
happy
I
when they're
hope
all.
he doesn't have
Yeah.
any friends like you.
I'd be walking around with a camera. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you're the worst possible friend.
I'd be
No, he's
James
gotta-
Wilkie's mom. How about we do a little video over here? Come on. Let's get busy. I'll be big. You
no.
be
You're going to be
Carrie.
calling his mother right after this visit.
Yeah,
No, he's got really good friends.
I'd be like,
We
I need a bath.
like them. Oh, for God's
Well,
sake.
that's the kind of kid I was. You wouldn't have allowed James Wilkie to hang
That's
around
right.
with me.
This friendship
No.
is
I would have
over.
been. So the show is called Divorce.
Yes.
We look forward to this. It's good to have you back on TV,
you.
right? I mean, you're out there doing it.
Yeah, man.
You didn't
Out
have
there
to.
doing
You
it.
came back. You believe in the show.
I love it.
You want to tell this audience they should be watching.
Well,
Yes.
I'm very bad at telling people what to do, but I
Tell
will
them what to
say,
do. Tell the
I will
people.
say, well, really quickly, you can help me. You better. I'm not good at
Listen, I've told people without
But-
you being here.
Okay.
My
But
wife and I
yeah.
sit and we watch this show.
I'm so
He's
glad.
he's
But
already
there's
a
also an
fan.
amazing cast, right? It's Thomas Hayden Church,
Yeah.
who's fantastic,
Yes.
despite
Plays-
your feelings
and
for
Molly-
his character.
and Molly Shannon.
who's fantastic and
She's
funny.
from Saturday Night Live. Fantastic.
And Tracy Letts, who you may or may not know.
It's a good cast.
And Talia Balsam. And it's a smart, sophisticated, funny, but heartbreaking and real story of a relationship, right?
And Sharon Stone plays the aunt.
Way to wrap it up.
Right. And what else are you doing? You're starting a book publishing company?
Yeah, an imprint.
No
for
kidding.
Hogarth. Yeah.
Oh my God, what a
Very
fabulous
excited.
Now,
life.
what's happening over there?
What?
At the imprint?
SJP.
Yeah.
So it's an imprint for Hogarth, which is a very old imprint. It was started by Virginia and Leonard Woolf in Richmond, London.
What are you going to do? You're going to read all these books now? You don't have
Yeah,
time
I'm reading
for
all
this.
the time. No, are you
You're going to
kidding me?
read books, manuscripts. And
in
then,
the literary
And then-
fiction space.
and if you like it, you will put it out on your label.
If I like it, I am gonna. We will publish it through SJP for Hogarth.
You are such a go-getter. And what else you got? You sell hot shoes, right?
I have a shoe
High
company
heels.
and
Shoes are
fragrance
important to you?
company. I like shoes very much.
I love
Yes.
when you parade around in those shoes. Like they're hot shoes, right? Be honest.
I
You
like,
love it.
These are
me see
some
what you're doing.
old. These are the Alyssas, but these
Look
are
at
these are an
you.
old. These are one of our first shoes.
How high are those heels?
This is 100. This is called 100 millimeters. So this is about 3 inches. It's
Look
not
at you.
terribly tall. But yeah, no, I've got some businesses. We work hard.
And you got to be careful. Don't have a sweatshop. You know,
No,
they
we
always
don't.
they'll
We
track
don't.
you right
First
down.
of all of our shoes are made in Italy.
Oh,
where
no
they,
kidding.
Where they should be made. Where
Right.
There's a long
I like
history of-
Italians.
and our bags are all made in America.
Right.
And our dresses are all made in America.
I love this.
So, so social compliance, and that sounds boring, but it's a huge part.
Can every kind of
our-
woman wear your dresses, or do we have to be as thin
We
as
go
you?
from 0 to size 16,
Oh.
and we're aiming to actually broaden our sizes,
Who are we aiming at? A high end or
meaning high end of size
Like
or
couture
Price.
or
price.
couture?
price,
No,
yeah.
no. It's
I
called
don't even know what that
bridge.
is.
It's called bridge. So
Bridge.
it's because they're made in America and they're made well. I can't have them be $69, but for a dress,
And you got
of this
fragrance
quality,
too, right?
Fragrance,
Gee,
yeah. We
you must be rolling in dough.
no,
If I was Matthew, I'd sit home.
no, because I put the money I invest back into the companies.
That's
do?
why he's
Yeah.
cooking, Howard.
Yeah, I'd have time to cook too.
No, he's always
My
busy
wife's
working.
listening. How about let's get into some of this? How about our own imprint?
Because she's busy saving animals, rescuing
Yes,
animals,
constantly.
which is, I'm sure, far more important.
Well, you're
And a
doing
new
it all.
fragrance.
You are doing it all.
Well, I love it all. I love it, and it's.
By the way, I was
No.
recently hanging out with our mutual friend Robert Downey Jr.,
Oh yes,
who you were in
you
a
caused
relation.
quite a stir, the two of you.
Oh yeah, when he was on, he was like, "Yeah, I'm going to go call Sarah Jessica."
You did.
Ay ay ay, that was drama.
It was it drama?
No,
No,
But you
it
guys you guys actually got together.
Yeah, it was really nice.
Is that weird? You had a long relationship with him, like
Yeah.
7 years.
Yeah, 7 or 8 years. I
Is
think.
it weird to get together?
It was surprisingly not weird.
Wow.
I mean, I guess you spend so many years with someone, and you're so. And I was 8. We were 18 when we met,
Yeah.
and I mean, fundamentally, we're sort of the same. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think the difference is, he has a family and a wife, and obviously his career is a massive
Massive.
thing.
Unreal.
But I think his true nature is it was completely familiar. Do you know what I mean by
Yes.
that?
Yeah, because when you know someone for 7 years, it's you feel like you always know each other.
Yeah.
But sometimes it doesn't end well, and then you get together, and
I
it's
always
weird.
felt that I always felt very affectionate toward him. I never,
You
I don't know, I thought it ended well in a way. I mean, we broke up, but we were young and we broke up, but I never didn't care about his well-being, and I I never felt like resentment or bitterness. I didn't feel any of those old sort of, those ideas about like my ex, my.
Have you had bad breakups?
Yeah, I've had breakups that, you don't remain friendly.
Right.
But that's okay too.
I was worried about Matthew because I didn't want him to get jealous of you having the lunch with Robert. That's why.
He was not at all.
He was cool.
He was cool, and it was an evening event.
I don't know how.
I
could not be married to an actress because I would be so jealous with you with these kissing scenes.
I feel like you just wouldn't. I don't.
You know, in divorce, like you're in bed with that guy you're cheating with. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
great?
Yeah, he's great, but that's the problem. I don't want you kissing. If you're my wife, I don't want you kissing this guy. I would be too jealous.
Well, that's what I was thinking about even with Sex in the City. You had these magnificent men.
Yeah.
Just over you all the time.
I couldn't handle it.
Yeah, I know. It's so great because
you had to marry.
to.
You had to marry an actor because that's the only people who would really understand.
Really?
Yeah, I wouldn't deal with it well.
Maybe you're right. I mean, I wonder how many people are actors are sort of married to civilian. Like, I don't know. It's not. I know you hear this 100 million times, and it's like
not
never
sexual.
applause. It's strangely, especially on a show like Sex and the City where you're dating. I mean, you're like really dating, and you're really familiar with the crew, and they're like action, and a guy is reading a magazine.
There's no attraction. Who was that really good-looking guy he was your boyfriend on Sex and the City?
Which one?
Oh my God!
Well, there was
John
Mikhail
John Corbett.
Baryshnikov.
I thought, that's a guy. he's a macho kind.
Baryshnikov was
Flattery.
amazing.
I didn't think you were into Baryshnikov. I could see you being into John
Oh my
Corbett.
God, are you kidding? Baryshnikov was my idea.
Well, because you're a dancer.
I loved him. He
Yeah.
was the end all. He was the standard by which I judged all other men.
The reason I don't buy into what you're saying is because I made a movie, and I'm
Did
being.
you fall in love with your opposite?
I was aroused in every scene I did with a woman, literally aroused.
He was in love with the makeup artist as
In
well.
fact, when I would shoot scenes with Mary McCormick, who played my wife, I would start making out with her. There was no script that said make out, and they were like, "Well, wait a second."
Supposed to be having a fight.
I go, "Wait, she's my wife. I'm attracted
she's
to her."
kind of a great. She's on Divorce coming up. You'll see.
Is she?
Yeah.
Mary?
Yeah, she's great. She's got one monologue where she just lets it rip.
Oh.
But she's great. But maybe it's because you're actually not an actor,
Yeah,
and
of course
maybe
not.
that's why it was.
I thought it was real.
Personal and real for
Yes.
you, because if that were your third, fourth, fifth, seventh, 11th, 20th movie, I think you'd be more circumspect about this exchange.
When you were a younger woman, you weren't married to Matthew, you were free and single, you're on set with, I don't know, Johnny Depp or one of these guys.
Yep.
You mean to tell me, and if you're doing a love scene, you never felt yourself getting whatever the female version of aroused is?
So now we're doing a hypothetical, right?
Yes.
Okay, I can see that if I were a single person and I was playing opposite someone like any of the men you mentioned, and I wasn't obligated elsewhere, I can imagine, of course, falling in love, which is why I did previous to being married.
And when you're
right?
shooting, but wait a second, when you're shooting the show Divorce, and you come home, and let's say Matthew's watching the show, and he sees you making out with that guy, he doesn't turn to you and say, "I'm feeling a little bit jealous here." Never.
He certainly doesn't say, "Oh, I thought you really did well in that scene."
No, I mean,
is it
I think what we
uncomfortable?
both do is just. Have you ever watched somebody with eyes wide shut? Actually,
Yes.
Like I've seen scenes of Matthew on stage and in film where he's kissing somebody,
Right.
and you're watching it, but you sort of shut down for a second,
Right.
and then when it's over, you sort of your eyes see things differently.
I see.
Like he sat next to me at the premiere the other night, and they showed 2 episodes, not 1 and 2. They showed 1 and 3, and I knew what happened, and it's exactly the right way to look at it. It's like it's a sort of academic exercise for a minute.
Do you, Matthew, ever sit down with the kids and show them your old movies? Does Matthew show them?
No.
Which is
Ferris Bueller.
Ferris Bueller. What a great movie.
James Wilkie's seen it. The girls have now seen Hocus Pocus, and I think they've seen Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Do you? What do you feel about that? Do you think that's good for them to see it, or do you?
Yeah,
think,
I think it gives them a point of reference. It puts things in context for them because.
Do they behave better once they see that? Like, do they like, oh wow, my mom is very cool?
No. Kids don't behave better for any good reason.
No.
They're just they're I don't know. My children. No, they don't
When
like
the
me
kids
more,
see Ferris
respect me more.
When James Wilkie saw Ferris Bueller, was he like, oh my God? My
Yeah.
father's like the coolest dude.
Yeah,
It had to be
I mean,
crazy.
Yeah, and he's seen a
I wish I
couple
could
of
have
other
been there for that.
movies.
You should have invited me over for
No,
that,
should have.
for
We
that
can-
moment.
We can, I guess we could.
What
try
other
to-
movies
try it
could
with
we show?
Project X, maybe. Or
Yeah.
War Games or Glory.
War Games. Yes, War Games.
Glory.
Let's show. Bring me over when James
All right.
Wilkie sees this War Games.
All right.
I want to see
Maybe
his.
we'll do it in the summer
Yes.
when we're more likely to be in closer proximity,
Yeah.
based on my.
I'll show
empirical.
James. I want to show James Wilkie private parts.
He would love that.
No. There's some nudity in there.
young
You know,
yet.
his favorite movie was Graduate. That's his favorite. That's.
Oh, is it? Oh, so he's ready for this.
He's fine.
How do
He's
you keep
ready.
him off the internet with all this sex stuff? Do you monitor?
As much as we can. I mean, I don't know. I mean, part of me thinks he has good judgment and he's not.
You have no spyware?
No.
No. You probably do. You're just
Probably
not.
should.
You don't want to admit it.
No, we don't. I don't even actually know what that is.
So how do we know he's not on the internet right now looking up?
Because I look at his computer.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And I know I can follow what happens on his phone.
Smart. Yeah, you are a good mother.
I have that app. I downloaded that.
You're like my
Did
mom.
I download or did I upload an app? What
You're
do I
like
do?
my mother. My mother. My mother
Okay.
used to inspect my underwear to see what was
Oh,
doing.
dear God.
Well, they didn't
What
have the
was in
internet.
your underwear? Was
Oh.
it like tea leaves?
It was like tea leaves. You could tell exactly what I was up to.
my gosh,
All
you
right,
can
look.
read the future.
I've held you here hostage long enough.
No, my God, it's been so
Come
much
on,
fun.
we're having so much
is
fun.
it over? This is the graceful.
Well, no.
Get
listen.
out?
First of all, no. There's no graceful get out. But by the way, James Wilkie, if you're listening, you got to learn how to clean out your internet history. Dude, just hit the delete button. What's the matter with you?
Odds
Your
are he
mother's
actually
inspecting.
knows.
Yeah,
I'm
she's,
sure he
yeah.
does. He types so quickly.
He does?
Well, they do. The kids, because
and they know how
they
to do
all
it
type,
automatically.
yeah.
their homework is all on a computer now. So he's like,
Jeez.
he's like a secretary in 1941. You know, he's just like.
I would think showing James Wilkie one of your old movies is like Superman revealing his powers. You know what I mean? Like up until now you were a schlub, and now all of a sudden you start showing him the movies.
I've
It's like
asked him, "Do you want to see Divorce? You know, can you work
Yeah.
it into your schedule?"
he doesn't want to see it.
He's like, "Yeah, Mom. I want to. Well, I got to figure out a time. Yeah."
Maybe it's weird
He's
for
very
him.
busy.
Maybe he wants it to just be about him and not about you.
Maybe. I know he's expressed interest in seeing it.
He has?
I just haven't.
You
cut
bring him to the set?
I haven't. He came by the set a couple times. Yeah, they mostly come by just because of the free food.
Does
That's
he
the only
want to?
reason
Does he want to
kids-
be an actor?
No,
Thank God.
no. I'm so thrilled.
What does he
So
want to do?
thrilled. I don't think he knows. I mean, I think
Should be a disc
he
jockey.
likes music. Yeah,
like me.
He likes play-by-play.
He should be a shock jock. Can you imagine? That'd be good.
I don't even know what that. I'm so curious what that will mean by the time he's meant to have a job.
Right.
Like, what will shock jock mean? Honestly.
Oh, yeah.
In 10 years, and with the sort of
There's nothing shocking
rate at
left.
It have
which-
to be pretty
exactly
shocking
What's-
to be
what
a
could shock
jock.
how
someone?
people
Yeah.
use language and how quickly we are able to.
Do you curse around the house?
Right?
You seem to me you don't curse.
Although my daughters.
Curse
Loretta-
like sailors?
No, Loretta told me that she said hell, and she just told me this last week that she said, you know, last year, Mama, I got in trouble for saying hell, and I said, you said hell? And I said, where have you ever heard hell? And she said, from you.
Oh, you're not
It's
such
like,
a good
wow.
influence.
So yeah.
I'm going to edit out that Jesus Christ you said at the beginning of this interview. I don't want the kids to hear that. Listen,
Anyway,
Sarah Jessica Parker, you've done it again. Not only are you triumphant in film and television, but on radio now. Look at you. Sitting
very
here.
nice to say so.
It was great to have you on here. Sarah Jessica
you.
Parker in Divorce. Learn what it means to be in a mature marriage and things go wrong. On Sunday nights at 10 p.m. on
Yes.
HBO. Is that an accurate
That's
description?
absolutely spot on. It's everything HBO would ever have wanted to hear coming from you.
And look for her
10
with
p.m.
shoes, perfume, tchotchkes, everything.
At your local library,
That's right.
There you go.
You're raising the
Even
kids
in
with
books.
religion, or are you keeping that out?
they'll make those choices for themselves. I
Really?
figure, yeah.
No
Yeah.
religion.
No, I mean, I didn't have any religious education, and James, and neither did Matthew. So neither one of us
So they're
are in
nothing.
a position to.
They're
So wait a minute. What do they know?
They know that other people have.
They
are-
better know Jesus Christ is
are-
our Lord and Savior. They better understand that.
They understand that some people feel that way. They know that other people are observant.
There's
and
no
they know
Christmas
about-
at your house?
We celebrate Christmas, but not in a religious.
Just for the gifts.
Just for the gifts. We love the tree. We love the the sort of tradition and the lights, and we decorate. And
What's
we
your
live
stance
next door
on,
to a shul.
Oh, you do?
Yeah.
Do you
the
ever take them to
oldest
the
shul.
temple?
We walk by a lot. They go in. We know the person who runs it. We're very friendly with him.
Do you know I'm against Halloween?
Oh, is it a pagan holiday?
I think it's all wrong.
I don't like Halloween.
I hate
Actually,
it.
I really don't like Halloween.
I hate Halloween.
I'm happy to offer candy to anybody, but I really don't. I never have liked Halloween.
Do people knock on your door for Halloween?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah?
Of course.
What do you give out?
Everything. Sorry.
Milky Way?
He'll be
What do I get at your house? I'm going to knock on your door.
My son is allergic to peanuts, so at my house.
Oh, that's scary.
Sorry about that.
What's the matter? You can't hold up during a 10-hour interview?
No, it's got a little tickle.
All right.
It's got a little tickle. So at our house, we'll do anything that wouldn't have peanuts. So like Starbursts.
What happens if he
Tootsie
eats?
Pops.
What happens if he eats peanuts?
He has a very serious anaphylactic reaction.
Do you have that pen where
Yes.
you have to shoot him with?
We have an auto injector.
Have you ever had an accident where he ate a peanut?
That's how we discovered it, and they had to shoot him with an auto injector.
So when you go to a restaurant, you got to really say, "Listen, there better not be any peanuts in this."
And we always have an
pen.
auto injector. Yeah,
and that's the one they try to up the price on.
Correct.
But you guys can afford a ton of those. Yeah, I don't want to hear you complaining.
No, we don't complain, but but it does concern me for others because it is actually a necessary item to, in many cases, literally maintain life. I mean, that's how serious it is. So
you're a good person.
Thanks.
Did Hillary thank you for last night?
She wasn't
She's
there,
busy,
but she shows her gratitude constantly, and the president was there in Chelsea, and they thanked every single person.
Bill and Chelsea were there?
They were both there, yeah.
Have you ever stayed at the White House?
I've not slept at the White House.
Okay.
No.
You go
there? I've been there a few times.
Well, you're getting embarrassed again. Why are you embarrassed? Listen, you're famous.
No.
You have access.
Nope.
Who'd you go there with? Obama?
Yes, and the Clintons.
What were you doing there? What do you do? You just hang?
Yeah. You sometimes have meals or
do you have conversation?
Birthdays.
You're so shy. I mean, and what do you do? Like you went to the White House and had dinner with Hillary and Bill?
The White House during the Clinton years, we were there on a number of occasions. But I actually met the Clintons in Atlanta during the '88 convention when he was the keynote speaker. That was the keynote. He was the keynote speaker, right?
I bet he loved you.
No, actually, I worked with them a lot.
Yeah.
And when he ran the first time, that was when I started, working at all for.
Whose birthday were you celebrating?
President Obama's.
Oh, no kidding! Look at you. You are connected.
No.
Oh my! What do you mean? No?
But I
you don't get any more connected than that.
My first election that I ever worked on was for George McGovern in 1972.
Yeah.
That was my first. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I remember 72. I was 5.
Remember what innocent time? I mean,
that was an innocent time.
Wasn't
it's not so innocent
back
anymore.
Now at that campaign.
Yeah.
My God. I mean, and that was really
tumultuous years.
Brutal campaign.
Vietnam and everything.
Yeah. McGovern Eagleton, McGovern Shriver. I think Eagleton had to leave.
Yeah.
Eagleton was. Right?
Eagleton went to a psychiatrist or had electroshock treatment.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that was
that was a brutal election.
That was really.
We thought.
But this is the most brutal.
Yeah, this is
really brutal.
Uniquely brutal.
Yeah. I got to find out more about this White House visit, but you must have on your cell phone. You must have a contact list.
Oh boy!
My goodness.
You want that Rolodex? Yeah.
Who are your friends anyway? I wonder who your friends are. Who are you hanging with?
Some people maybe that
Obama, Clinton.
No, I wouldn't. I'm not pretending to call them friends.
What the hell do you talk about with them? That's pressure, isn't it?
Yeah, a little bit, but they're very good at making
small talk?
Conversation.
Are they?
Yeah, excellent. Really good.
So
at
uptight.
It. I mean, I think everybody's kind of nervous at first because.
Wouldn't it be weird, like if you're sitting there and they just all start smoking weed or something weird? Like, wouldn't that be just too great?
It would be bizarre and.
You smoke weed?
Wonderful. No.
No, me neither.
No,
I can't. I can't handle it. You drink?
No, I never could. Yeah, I drink.
What do you drink? Wine?
I drink wine, but then I really like a Moscow Mule.
A Moscow Mule.
You ever had a Moscow Mule?
That's what my wife calls my penis.
Mule? No,
a Moscow Mule.
I realize.
What is a Moscow Mule? What is a Moscow Mule?
I think it's ginger beer and is it vodka? Anybody? I believe so.
Oh, that'd be fun.
Crack investigative
Oh,
Sherlock
those guys?
Holmes behind me.
All right, listen, I'll let you out of here. Sarah Jessica Parker is in Divorce. I am watching it, and my wife is watching it. And my wife said, oh, we have a show we can watch together now. Because we do look for shows we can watch together.
Have you tried House Hunters International?
No.
That's not their speed.
Just kidding.
It's not my speed.
No, let Divorce be the show.
Is Spider-Man in it?
No.
No.
Let Divorce be that show for both of you.
That is our show.
That would be a real honor and privilege.
We love it. It's
as
great.
was being on your show today.
And it was wonderful having you here.
Thank
You're
you.
a fabulous actress and a good person. Watch Sarah Jessica Parker in Divorce Sunday nights at 10 p.m. on HBO. And remember, she seems like she has a great life, but she was a shitty aunt.
What?
She was
You
not
mean
good as an aunt.
I thought she was a shitty aunt to it, like a niece.
No, an A&T. So there you go. Not everything is rosy.
No,
right?
it's perfect.
That's right. And not a good
Just
cow
the way
either.
it should be.
Right. No, but really, thank you for being here.
My total
And the
delight.
show is
Thank you.
Divorce. We'll be back right after these words.
1, 2.
Today's Sternthology.
She's a sweet lady, Artie.
That was All right, honey, get ready. Here we go.
Artie kisses Blue Iris.
Drive home with Sternthology.
Howard 101.
Yeah. What is it?
Dash Lane.
After a few weeks ago, a major media company got hacked. And over 500 million accounts were reportedly stolen. Personal data, such as your passwords, can end up in the wrong hands. Protect your passwords and download Dashlane now. Dashlane is an award-winning password manager. It says it's making protecting your passwords super easy, and it's true. It's secure. Dashlane remembers all your passwords, alerts you when you're at risk from a breach, and lets you change your passwords immediately. With Dashlane's password changer feature, Dashlane says they invented Password Changer, the easy way to change your passwords in seconds with one click of the mouse. And with Dashlane on your phone and computer, you can access your passwords and change them from anywhere, at any time. Don't wait for the next hack before you start protecting your passwords. Download Dashlane right now at your computer, your tablet, or your phone at dashlane.com/100. Go to dashlane.com/100 for an exclusive offer. That's dashlane.com/100.
When I listen to Audible, I'm not skimming the dead leaves out of my above-ground pool. I'm hurtling toward the planet Zebulax, searching for a new homeworld. The days turn into months. Months turn into years as my ship slips ever farther into the endless blackness of space. Kevin, water stays in the pool.
Go to audible.com/serious and your first download is free. Audible, stories that surround you.
There's something exciting about receiving flowers on your birthday. Whether you're showing off the bouquet at work, school, or at home, everyone knows it's your special day. When you need to surprise a loved one with a birthday bouquet, go to 1-800-Flowers.com. 1-800-Flowers is the only company you should trust to deliver fresh from the field flowers. And right now, when you order 24 stunning roses, you're going to get them for only $24. It's 1-800-Flowers 24 for 24 deal. With 1-800-Flowers, you can be the reason your loved one smiles all day long. 1-800-Flowers works with premier farms around the world to ensure you get the best roses available. And every rose bouquet is backed by their 100% smile guarantee. To order 24 stunning roses for only $24, go to 1-800-Flowers.com on your desktop or mobile device. Click on the radio icon and enter code 100. 1-800-Flowers.com. Don't forget to click the radio icon and enter code 100.
Hey-o. What is this?
Dish TV.
Yeah, Dish TV. Dish wants you to stop paying for channels that you don't watch. It's time for a skinny bundle that gives you what you actually watch and not what you don't. Introducing the new Flex Pack from Dish. You start with over 50 popular channels if you want more. You can add channel packs like locals, variety, kids, news. Dish says, if you don't watch, then don't pay. Call 1-844-CALL-DISH today. Or visit Dish.com to sign up with the new Flex Pack from Dish. It's over 50 popular channels for just $39.99 a month. with your first channel pack included. Add more channel packs like Locals, Variety, Kids, News, and more for $10 a month each. Call 1-844-CALL-DISH or visit dish.com to sign up today. Requires credit qualification, 2-year commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Dish service for 1 TV included. Taxes and surcharges are extra. Offer ends October 27, 2016. Other restrictions apply. Blah, 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 blah. Dish, dish, dish. There you go, Dish. Rhymes with pish, Robin, which is something I had to do.
What was that?
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. That's Sarah Jessica Parker, huh?
There she was in the flesh.
There she was. I like her.
She's your type?
Yeah, she's my type. That's my type. Right
Okay,
there.
I'll remember that.
Right over there. It's been a long morning, hasn't it? It's already 10:47. How do you like that? Yeah.
You spent a lot of time with her.
Well, why not? I found her fascinating. I did. It was fun. You want to do the news?
Absolutely.
You're not too wiped out?
No, I'm fine.
I worry about you.
I didn't not sleep because Sarah Jessica Parker was going to be here today.
I didn't say that. That might have happened, but it doesn't. No. You think I was up all night?
That's right, preparing.
Preparing. No, I just wake up to pee, and then I can't get back to sleep. But I do confess I did jot down a few questions that I was curious about with her.
Of course.
You know?
You're a longtime fan.
Yes.
Long time, first time.
Yep. I am a longtime fan. All right, time for a beautiful love song for Robin. I like this version better than the original. I really like that.
But she's going to take that and what's she going to do with it?
She's going to do something. You know, squeeze it. Probably stick her tongue up your ass.
Oh, my.
I'm imagining. You know, it's funny. Ever since you said not a lot of women write Robin love songs, there's been a bunch of them.
I never said that.
Yeah, we had a discussion about it a couple of months ago, and you said, yeah. I said, yeah, not a lot of girls.
So now the women are contributing?
Oh, yeah. Well, what is it? Today, Tuesday? 2 for Tuesday. Here's another lesbian-themed song about Robin.
Robin,